The Iron Crown. In the year 1875, the world was a different place. The French Empire, under the iron rule of Emperor Napoleon IV, stretched across Europe and beyond. The streets of Paris were filled with the hum of industry, and the air was thick with the scent of ambition and fear. The emperor's spies were everywhere, ensuring that dissent was crushed before it could take root. Amélie Dubois walked briskly through the cobblestone streets, her heart pounding in her chest. She clutched a small, leather-bound book to her chest, its pages filled with secrets that could change everything. Her father, a respected historian, had entrusted her with this dangerous knowledge before his sudden and mysterious death. "Amélie, you must promise me," he had whispered with his last breath. "Never let this fall into the wrong hands." Now, as she approached the grand estate of the Marquis de Villeneuve, she wondered if she was about to do just that. The Marquis was a powerful man, known for his loyalty to the emperor and his ruthless pursuit of power. But he was also her uncle, and the only family she had left. The estate loomed before her, its tall iron gates standing like sentinels. She hesitated for a moment, then steeled herself and pushed them open. The gravel crunched under her feet as she made her way to the front door, her mind racing with the possibilities of what lay ahead. Inside the house was a maze of opulence and shadow. The walls were lined with portraits of stern-faced ancestors, their eyes seeming to follow her as she passed. She found the Marquis in his study, a room filled with books and the smell of cigar smoke. "Ah, Amélie," he said, rising from his chair with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?" She took a deep breath, her fingers tightening around the book. "Uncle, I have something important to discuss with you. It's about Father." His expression shifted, a flicker of interest crossing his face. "Your father was a great man, Amélie. His loss is deeply felt." "Yes," she replied, her voice steady, "but I believe his death was not an accident. I think he was murdered." The Marquis's eyes narrowed, and he gestured for her to sit. "This is a serious accusation, my dear. What makes you think such a thing?" Amélie opened the book, revealing pages filled with her father's meticulous handwriting. He was working on something that could threaten the empire. He discovered a plot, a conspiracy that reaches to the highest levels of power. The Marquis leaned forward, his interest piqued. "And you have proof of this?" She nodded, her heart pounding. "Yes, it's all here. But I need your help, Uncle. I don't know who to trust." He studied her for a moment, then smiled, a calculating gleam in his eyes. "Of course, my dear, you can always trust family." Relief washed over her, and she handed him the book. As he flipped through the pages, she felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps together they could bring justice to her father's killers. But as the Marquis closed the book, his expression changed. The warmth in his eyes vanished, replaced by a cold, calculating gaze. "You have done well to bring this to me, Amélie," he said, his voice smooth and dangerous. "But you must understand, some secrets are best kept hidden." Her heart sank as she realized her mistake. The man she had turned to for help was not her ally, but her enemy. The book, and the truth it contained, was now in the hands of the very people her father had warned her about. "Uncle, please," she pleaded, her voice trembling. "This is not what Father would have wanted." He rose from his chair, towering over her. Your father was a fool, Amelie. He didn't understand the world we live in. But you have potential. Join me, and together we can shape the future of the Empire. She shook her head, tears in her eyes. I won't betray his memory. The Marquis sighed, a hint of regret in his voice. Then you leave me no choice. As he called for his guards, Amelie knew she had to escape. She turned and fled, her heart pounding with fear and determination. She would not let her father's death be in vain. She would find a way to bring the truth to light, even if it meant facing the full wrath of the Empire. Outside, the night was dark and full of shadows. But Amelie ran, clutching the hope that somewhere, somehow, she would find allies in this fight. The world was a dangerous place, but she was ready to face it, armed with the knowledge her father had died to protect.